Hello, everyone. My name is Donovan Borum, and this is going to be the initial episode of what, for now, I'm going to call the Best Man Podcast. And you may be wondering what this whole thing is about. I like to get straight to the point when I make videos. I don't like to lollygag around and spend the first minute and a half babbling. So let's just get straight into it. My vision and my intention for this podcast is to inspire, encourage, and acknowledge men that are pushing to be their best selves. And so, we live in an age where masculinity seems to be under attack and it seems to be wrong to be men. And I've talked to a lot of men, I've talked to a lot of women, and they would all agree that they still want men to be leaders and they still want men to be the men that they need to be. And that's just, disciplined, uh, emotionally stable, mentally stable, financially stable, um, and a real contributor to society. And a little bit of background on me. Over the summer, I got some experience Ubering, and I'm a conversationalist. I like to have conversations, and as this podcast progresses, you'll see me have interviews with people. You'll see me facilitate conversations with other men and other women, on topics that affect men and indirectly women in society at large as well, regarding, everything, whether it's relationships, money, business, spirituality, purpose, health, wealth, you name it. If it affects men and as a byproduct of that, women in the world, we're going to talk about it. And so, back to the story, when I was driving, one question that I was asking men over and over again was, when they look at the men of their generation and the men of their father's generation and the men that are coming up underneath them, where would they say men are today? Now, I've asked that question to over 400 men in the last, I would say, 6 months. A lot of men, and I've asked some women too. And I've gotten a lot of good responses. I'm about to go out into the world and start to ask that question again and start to record it so I can start to show you guys, the responses that I'm getting. And, to start with the positive, we do get a lot of positive responses. Men tend to be more emotionally intelligent than they have been in past generations. Men have made way for women to lead and, for other things in society that people would deem good. I would deem that good as well. But surprisingly, an overwhelming majority of the responses have been negative, and a lot of those responses centered around words like lost or weak or soft. And these are coming from men. These are men, from their, late teens to mid 70s. So it's a huge range of men that are kind of coming to a consensus and saying, men aren't where they need to be. And now I'm in no way suggesting that men go back to a time where men were this great, entity. But I do think we have to admit that there was a time where men were a thorough pillar of the community. And, I don't want to get political or religious or anything like that. But when you look at the world today, things are not the way they used to be. And in some ways that's really, really good. And in other ways, it's causing a lot of problems. You go on YouTube or you go on any kind of social media site, really, and you can see the issues that are out there, men against women and, all these things going on. And a lot of it is derived from, I would say, men not being who they are supposed to be. And there's a lot of reasons we can get into with that. As we have conversations with other people, we can dig into that as well. But, the reality is men can be better. And so I want this podcast to be an inspiration to them to be better. I want this podcast to encourage them to be better. And I want this podcast to acknowledge those who have taken those steps to actually be better. Because I heard a quote a few months back, and it went, if you change a man, you change a family. And if you change a family, well, you change a household. If you change a household, you change a community. If you change a community, you can change a city. If you change a city, you can change a state. And if you change a state, you can change a country. And if you change a country, you can change the world. And it all starts with that one man. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say that, all of the responsibility lies on man and anything like that. But I'm aware that there are platforms out there that inspire and encourage women to be their best selves, and I root for them. I want women to be the best they can possibly be for themselves and for the people that they care about. But I also call that charge to men as well. I challenge men to step up and be, who they want to be and who they need to be for themselves and for their spouses and for their children and for, their community. Because when men are standing up and being who they're supposed to be, it allows everybody else the space to be who they're supposed to be. And I think that makes society as a whole greater. And so that's what this podcast is going to be about. I'm probably going to throw in, bits of my story in there as well, because I'm actually going through my own bit of a transition and transformation right now. A little bit rough right now. It won't always look like this, and this won't always be in my bedroom, but I had to start somewhere. And like I said, this has been on my heart and on my mind for quite some time. And I've really struggled with what I was going to say and how I was going to say it and making it perfect. But you know what? Sometimes when you are called to help people, you just got to start with what you have and just build it from there, man. So with that being said, this is just the initial video. This is what the intention is. This is, what I hope to accomplish. I've, written down some topics that I want to get into over the course of the podcast. I want to bring in people. And one of the first things I want to get going is a forum where I talk with other men online about where we think men are. I want to have a conversation. I want to facilitate a conversation and let guys chime in about where they think men are. And, if you have anything you want to add to it, feel free to comment. I'll put this up on Facebook. I'll put this up on YouTube, and we'll see where it goes, man. Because at the end of the day, I really want to see everyone become their best selves. But right now my focus is on men, because honestly, I can relate. I can relate to what it's like to be a man and not make the best choices and feel that pressure of needing to make the right choices and maybe not having that support, or maybe not having the guidance or direction that I think that I should have. That's no one's responsibility but mine. Once you become a man, it's on you to make the right choices, and it's on you to lay that path before yourself and walk it. But, maybe we can build a community out of this and encourage one another to step into our manhood and to step into our masculinity and be who we were called to be. I am a spiritual man. I do believe in God, but I'm not going to shove God down people's throats. I'm not going to do that. Obviously everyone has their own political ideologies. We're not going to get into all of that either. This is strictly about men coming together to a place where they are challenged and they are inspired and they are acknowledged or even praised for the good work that they do. So, if you have any stories about the men in your lives that are, overcoming odds or overcoming adversity or, just doing what they need to do to be their best selves, send me that story. I'd love to chat with them. I'd love to, put their story out there and change the narrative that men aren't being who they're supposed to be, because I believe the society needs to see that. I believe that while women are making their sprints towards, equality and things like that, I think there's still space for men to be who they are. And I don't think that men being their best selves in any way diminishes the value of others. And so, it's funny. The last couple of days, I've been asking men what's one thing they believe men need or should do to be better men. And one of the responses that I got today was they need to do more affirming of other people. And, I asked them, I said, hey, is that, just to men specifically, or is that to society as a whole? And he said society as a whole. And I think that I really agree with him in that. I think that one of the first things we can do is affirm one another. So, any of the men that are watching this, and, obviously I don't know what you're going through, but I'm here to tell you that you have the skills to get through it. And if you don't have the skills to get through it, there's someone in your corner that can help you get through it. And if you don't have that, then I encourage you to reach out to me, because I'm always here to listen. I'm always here to encourage and, provide that inspiration to people, because no matter what it is, man, you can get through it and it's possible. Obviously it's easier to do with a team or someone that's in your corner. I feel very, very blessed to have people in my corner that support me. I might not always do the best at reaching out to them when I need them, but I know that they're there, and it makes the world a difference. And so men, it is Suicide Awareness Month. With that being said, I want you to know that you're not alone. I know that you might feel alone. I feel alone a lot, but you're not. And I know that it takes a lot of courage to admit that you need help. And I know that it takes a lot of strength to say, hey, I'm not doing too well. But I want you to know that's okay. It's okay to not be okay. But like they always say, it's not okay to stay there. And so this is the call to action to move, man. It's okay to not be okay, but reach out to somebody. Reach out to me. If there's someone in your life that you care about and you trust, reach out to them. If you don't believe that you have that, again, just start with me and we'll figure out where to go from there, man. I don't think anybody should do anything alone. So, that's enough rambling. This is the I guess the pilot episode or the introductory episode of the Best Man Podcast. I like to end my videos by saying, get up, get out, and make a way to make it happen, man. This world is about choices, and it's on us to make the best ones that we can with what we have, guys. So with that being said, I hope all of you guys have a great rest of your evening, rest of your day, wherever you are, and let's get out there and make it happen, fellas.